So I got huge man Ty Hall in the house, man.
What's up, man? What's up?
Yeah, one of the coolest people. It's crazy. Like I never met you until like this is one of my first times meeting you,
right.
And I just follow you on IG.
Right.
You know, you're one of the first people I've had on this show where it's like I don't even know
right.
much, but following you on IG, and through your IG, I just have much respect for you.
Appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
You know. So first of all, welcome to the show. On here, we just talk about soccer. You know, what soccer is about, what it means to you. It's great that you kind of are from the area, you grew up in the area, because we like to highlight the area.
Yeah.
You know, we want to grow this community in this area. You know, but we just want to talk about anything soccer, anything from coaching, training, playing, traveling, careers, whatever, soccer. You know, and hopefully somebody that's listening out there could learn a thing or two, or just like listening and just pay attention all the time. I don't know.
Right.
But yeah, man. So without further ado, Ty Hall, so just tell me a little bit about your history, man.
All right. Well, I grew up like just outside of Baltimore City, and then Anne Arundel County area, Severn area. I grew up playing every sport. My father's in the military, so like as a military kid, you grow up playing everything.
Did you have to travel a lot?
I didn't. I was fortunate. Yeah. Nice. Luckily enough, I didn't have to travel. So I had like the same set of friends from sandbox up.
That's right. That's lit.
So yeah, man, I played every sport: basketball, football, soccer, obviously, track and field. And like when I was growing up playing soccer as a black kid in the States, it wasn't cool.
Tell me about it. But it's even weirder coming because I came here from Cameroon when I was like 10 years old. Okay. And their soccer is everything. If you play soccer, you know what I mean? Right, so like I came here and I was like, yeah, I play soccer. Everyone's like, that's dead.
Yeah, that's dead. That's dead.
Yeah, but sorry, I mean to interrupt you.
Nah. Yeah, we can relate on that.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy now how it's like becoming a fad. Now it's like the hip hop culture is involved in it. It's crazy. But yeah, man, like my peers were like cool about me playing the game because I played other sports and I was actually good at the other sports. But like if you're, African American or any color and you play soccer where I was from, and that was the only sport you played, you were an outcast.
Yeah.
Luckily I didn't have to go through that. You know what I mean? Right. But that's fact,
That's true, man.
Man, outside of that, I just grew up like as a super like focused athlete. My father wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
Whatever sport I played, couldn't quit. I had to do extra work on the side. Before all this individual trainer became popular, I've been doing that since I was a kid on up.
That's crazy.
So it's just kind of ingrained in me, like that lifestyle.
It's one of the things which I never really did at all as a kid. Like I would just go out and like play for fun extra, or like go like kick the ball against, just do crossing for extra, but not really look at it as like, let me go train myself to get better extra. I just, I'm going to practice.
Right.
You know what I mean? But yeah, man.
Yeah, man. I think honestly, to be completely honest, I feel like my father did that because he liked to talk about his son to his friends.
Of course.
So like when it came to the weekend, I performed. And he would always remind, like, that's the work you did during the week. Yeah. Practice is always supposed to be harder than matches. That's how I grew up in all the sports I played. And it wasn't until like 10th grade where 9th, 10th grade where it was just like football, soccer.
Football,
Soccer.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of football. We got world-class football.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could call it football, bro.
Yeah, so it wasn't until like 9th, 10th grade where it was all about football, and it wasn't until like really 98, 99 until I really started watching the game. And I watched the game, 98 World Cup, some of the club season, and I fell in love with Edgar Davids.
Yeah.
He was at AC Milan at the time. And
that was when I came to this country. By
word.
The World Cup was on. I came right in the summer. World Cup was on.
Word.
Yeah, word. Yeah. But hey, soccer's a tough sport to catch in this country, unless it's the World Cup. Back then, at least. Nowadays, is like you said again.
It's more accessible to kids, and that's why like a lot of the kids that I work with, I try to express that to them. Like, our generation has some good footballers. I know you had Levy on the show.
Yeah.
Levy, grew up with Levy. Top baller for sure. Grew up with Levy, played ODP with him. Obviously, Rodney Wallace from the area, Bill Hamid. We have all these ballers in our age group.
That's true.
That didn't grow up watching the game, and these kids have the opportunity to watch the game, to learn each weekend, and I think that puts them at an advantage. And I feel like eventually the kids that we produce here in the States will be able to compete overseas on the world stage at a high level. So yeah, man. To wrap it up about the childhood, like, yeah, that's just how I grew up. Just like super focused athlete in all the sports, and always wanted to be the fastest, the strongest, the most skillful. Like, that's just my nature.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man.
It's one thing because it's something that you can't fake, that work ethic. You know what I mean? Because some people, like you work hard for like a couple months,
right,
and then it just goes away,
right.
But to have it instilled at you at a young age, it kind of, I don't want to say assures it, but it gives you a better standing of like, this is what the standard is.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? That's one of the things I wish I did more of when I was a kid.
Right.
But yeah, so so you what youth clubs did you play for?
Man, I started at like a local youth club with my friend Pat Holiday. It's called Blue Magic, but we wore purple. It was like, but we were good though. We were good. So I bounced from there, middle school and high school. I joined Bowie Bandits.
Okay.
From Bowie Bandits, actually before that I went to Maryland Junior Terps in this area actually. Then went to Bowie Bandits, and then from Bowie Bandits I went to Bethesda, which is to me the best club. Bethesda, man, that's where I learned how.
We're gonna harp on Bethesda a little bit.
Okay.
I think Bethesda is on the downfall, but that's talk for later. But so I was gonna ask, what did you notice, if there was a difference between soccer and in like the Montgomery County area compared to, like you said, you played at Bowie? Like, were there distinct differences? Was it the same?
I think there was distinct differences. We talk about this all the time, my friends. Like, to me, Montgomery County produces the best footballers. Like, through and through. I don't know if it's because it's so diverse here. Yeah. But as far as footballers and talent and knowing the game tactically and being technically sound, Montgomery County, I think, produces the best footballers in the state of Maryland. Yeah. Baltimore, more of like hardworking. Bowie wasn't so much. It was just Bowie. It wasn't really a style to me. But yeah, Montgomery County produces, I think, the best players. Yeah, for sure.
That's I always try to add, because I grew up just strictly Montgomery County. Right. You know what I mean? So I always try to figure out, like, I was over there. I do completely agree with that. I think Montgomery County has huge talent. You know what I mean? And I think Maryland in general produces when it comes to soccer. Yeah. Maryland is top in the States. I think Maryland, New York, Florida,
Texas,
Cali, and Texas. Yeah. I think Texas just started to come. Like I said, when I was in New Orleans, those Texas teams were crazy, bro. Man. And I think it's that flooding from the downside from Mexico coming up. Right. They get extremely good players, bro. Yeah. So I think Texas is the top baller too. But yeah, man, like, I definitely think like Montgomery County is good, but just like I was telling you about Bethesda, I think Montgomery County is like starting to like falter a little bit.
Why is that?
But just because I feel like the powerhouses are starting to, like, crumble. Not necessarily crumble, but like there's starting to be competition. Right. You know what I mean? Sure. One thing that I'm starting to notice is there's some fluctuation with like there's little clubs popping up everywhere. Yeah. And some of them are growing in success. Some of them are just pop up dead. Right. You know what I mean? And I'm watching it firsthand because I'm right here in Montgomery coaching at MC. Right. And I'm studying these things, and I'm watching like organizations like Bethesda start losing top kids to a club that you probably never heard of. Right. Like, you have some good kids there, and you have some good kids at Bethesda, but there's not that not that one club or that two club. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
We'll hit on that again in a little bit. But yeah, so I want to hear a little bit about. So you got through your club stage. You know what I mean? Then you decided you want to go. When did you decide you want to go play pro?
I decided I wanted to play pro in high school, probably about 16, 17. My junior year of high school, for sure. I had a standout year. I fell in love with Cristiano Ronaldo at the time.
Who did, though?
That's my guy. Yeah, at that time, like, there was nobody close to him. Right. But, man, I fell in love with the game. And 16, 17, I told my pops, man, I want to go pro. And I thought he would be all for it. But he wasn't. He wanted me to do the college thing, the college route. Man. Yeah, man, that caused a little friction.
Yeah, of course, what I mean? Bro.
Because my parents, like, they didn't know the football culture. Right. They didn't know that, like, at 16, 17, you go overseas, 18, 19, you're supposed to be the finished product.
Right. Of course.
You know what I mean? And
I think like 14 is the professional age.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. So I'm thinking like if I go to college and do 4 years, I'll be 22. Like how long is my career gonna be?
It's done.
They didn't want to hear that at all. So that caused a lot of friction in the house. I used to get kicked out of my house all the time for. I wasn't the best in school as far as grades. I was literally like football obsessed. Yeah. And my high school coach would tell you he saved me many of times of like getting kicked out. I went to a private school, by the way. Getting kicked out of the private school. If it wasn't for soccer, who knows?
Same here, bro.
Yeah. So
I would not have an education.
Man. It's crazy, man.
I'll tell you that, bro.
So yeah, so that was my plan. 16, 17, I wanted to go pro. I went on a trip to England with my club team, Bethesda. After I graduated high school, fell in love with the culture and how everybody was obsessed with the game. But I still had to go to school. I didn't have good grades, so I ended up going to a Division II school in South Carolina called Limestone. Got there thinking this is not D1. The level is not going to be that high. Totally wrong. Yeah. That school was like famous for bringing in like youth internationals. So we had a lot of kids from like Hall City Youth Academy. And
was it NCAA or NIA?
It was NCAA.
Okay.
NCAA. So that year, my freshman year, was the first time that I wasn't the man on the team. Yeah. So like that whole experience, how we all go through that.
It's wild.
It's wild.
It's wild.
It's wild.
It changes your whole. Yeah, it teaches you humility.
Yeah, humility for sure.
And sometimes that's like the hardest thing to learn. So.
That's fact.
It's the roughest, man.
Yeah, because in that situation, you can either sink or swim, man. True. And that's how a lot of players get lost through the cracks. Can't get over themselves. Can't recognize that, like, I need to buckle down and improve. Because then that's when you actually do become one of the better players on the team. Yeah. So skipping through that whole situation, the team was nationally ranked, whatever. I ended up transferring to a school in Southwest Virginia called Radford, 15 minutes away from Virginia Tech, Division I school. Got there, and the football was just not as good as the Division II school. Yeah. Huge school for partying. I fell into that whole trap. Got there, like I said, the football wasn't that great, so I'm like, man, like, and then there was females, the partying life, the typical thing American athletes get caught up in, especially in our game, where it's not like basketball and football, where they're preparing you to play pro. And in States, college level, it's football, soccer is almost like a extracurricular activity.
I was gonna say it's like a club sport. Yeah, like it's not. You don't see like the big picture, the big career, the big thing there.
We're not on ABC. We're not on all these networks, getting groomed to play at the next level. So that whole experience really messed me up. I ended up doing fairly poor in school, like not going to class, getting into the wrong things, letting what I saw as a child and the things I didn't do when I was a child kind of creep into my life when I got 19 years old. So I ended up not doing well and calling my dad one day. I was at school in my dorm and I was like, Dad, I'm dropping out of school. I'm going to Brazil to play. And he was like, lost it. Awesome. You know what I mean?
That's
lost
crazy.
It.
Of course. I like my heart's pumping for you. Because I know what that conversation probably felt like.
Right. It was much easier over the phone, put it that way, instead of being in front of his face. Man, I just went online and I just like gambled, like how to become a professional soccer player. That's like awesome. Put in all different type of countries. And I randomly found this dude named William Litton, who actually housed players from the States in Brazil, a small town outside of Rio. Hit him up, talked to an old teammate of mine, hit him up like, yo, I'm trying to go, but I'm not trying to go by myself, right? So I ended up making that move, saving money, making that move. That's it. As a 19-year-old kid. Not gonna tell you where I got the money from. You know what I mean? But that's a whole other story.
Tell, you know what I mean? I'm just interested in what happens when you get there. This is dope.
Yeah, that's a whole other story. Yeah. So man. Ended up flying into Brazil, man. First time flying internationally by myself, which was a whole experience. Yeah. I studied Portuguese for like a month before going. Yeah. So it was decent. I got there, man. It was an experience, man. I was housed in a big house with other Brazilians, other Americans, and we trained with the youth team for about a week. They would assess you and decide like what level of pro to send you out on trial. I ended up going to actually Luis Ronaldo's Ronaldo Phenomena. His first club in Rio called São Cristóvão. I was on trial there for about 3 weeks to a month.
Still.
Finally got the email, like, you know, they're going to use you.
Awesome.
Yeah. And like I said, my name is Tyrone Hall. So like whenever I go on trials overseas, people are reading that American name and just writing me off.
Yeah,
so
of
like
course, man.
when I got the email, like, yo, they're going to use you, they're looking to sign you, I was ecstatic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know the feeling. You know the feeling,
That's
bro.
insane.
It's
bro.
like all the hard work, you know,
Finally.
bad grades, oh, you're not going to do this, you're not going to do this. And then the club at a professional level says, we're going to use
something.
you. You know what I mean?
That's incredible, man.
So with that story, man, so what they offered was crazy. The living arrangement, what they offered was crazy, like not good. What I mean by that, they offered for me to stay at the clubhouse where we trained at, you know. They weren't talking big numbers or anything like that. So I stayed on for a while, and it didn't make sense after a while. I mean, the training was good. I got a lot of experience. I got better. I got to play with good players, play against good players, but it just wasn't making sense financially. So I ended up flying back to the States, and then I ended up going to school. Like I really got into like lifting heavy. And to be completely honest, when I got back from Brazil, I kind of went through like a depressed, like,
Yeah, of course, man.
yeah, man,
Definitely.
you know how it goes. Like,
Of course.
whenever we experience rejection or like it seems like failure. Like, man, I saved this money to go there, did well, but then it was like high and low.
Yeah. But you put a lot on the line to go there.
Yeah, put a lot on the line. Like my relationship with my parents.
Yeah, I was just about
You
to
know what I
say,
mean?
knowing
Like,
how your parents are like,
Yeah.
that's, I can imagine, bro.
yeah, man, it was tough to deal with. But I would say from that experience, my parents read the same emails that I got. So like it actually opened their eyes up to like, yo, my son can ball. Like if he wants to chase this, maybe we should be letting him chase it and support him. So like past that, like I said, I came back and then got into bodybuilding real heavy, gained weight, stopped playing soccer for a while, got in a little bit of trouble, and just kind of like went away for a while. 3 years I didn't touch a soccer ball.
Nothing.
In that 3 years I went from probably about 160 pounds to 205 pounds, bro.
205
Yeah,
pounds.
man. I was like Jack Swole, bro.
Holy shit.
Yeah, Jack Swole.
Like
Yeah.
no neck. Like you got
Like no neck, bro. No neck.
Who said that?
Yeah, I gotta see you guys a picture, man. But it was crazy.
I can't imagine. The way you look now, I can't imagine you.
Yeah, man. And I literally this week, man.
You're probably like mad lean.
Yeah, nah, bro. I was huge, bro. Like,
Yeah.
So what happened, man? Oh, actually, one of my friends, Brian, he went overseas to England, and he came back. I don't think it worked out, but like just seeing him chase it kind of gave me that like, man, like what am I doing? Like, why am I not like going after the game that like God put this like passion and talent into me? Like, why am I just like moping around? I'm doing things that I don't even love. You know what I mean? So I just buckled down. Started training after 3 years, bro. Like, and you know how it is.
It's like one of the hardest. The first thing is like just that first week or two of training, coming back from like such a long time of not doing anything.
man.
I only went like literally. I went like 6-7 months of like I'm not gonna. Like, I'm done with this. I'm gonna focus on becoming some weird biologist.
Right.
Another story. But yeah, man. And then that getting back is crazy. So I can't even imagine 3 years.
Yeah,
bro.
man. Well,
3
you know,
years,
like as anything goes, like if you're not doing something, you're literally kind of getting worse at it. You know what I mean? Like if you're not riding a bike every day, you don't ride a bike for a year and then go ride a bike. It's going to take you a while before you do it, as opposed to you riding it every day. So in those 3 years, I'm not getting better. I'm getting worse, and everybody else is getting better. And that like plagued in my mind for a while. Like, man, I'm chasing this again, and am I even going to be able to compete? You know? I started playing a couple men's league games. Played in front of one guy randomly, and he was like, bro, you can play. I have an agent for you. Contacted the agent. The agent sent me to an indoor trial. And this is how I started playing indoor.
Indoor for a trial.
So he sent me to an indoor trial with a team that was winless, bro. Like they were winless and they had 7 games left. So I went on trial. I did well.
Funny, it's like what's the movie? Aren't they the Tropics too with Jackie Moon?
Oh yeah, the Tropics. No, let's get tropical. Let's get tropical
because they weren't winning shit either. No, I'm just
no. That's very true. Semi-pro, yeah. That's pretty much what it was. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Like playing with that team, it was kind of semi-pro. It wasn't a lot of pay. Yeah. Even though I probably was making like $200 a game or something like that. But like my friends thought it was pro. You know, Instagram thought it was pro.
It is what it is.
You know what I mean? Perception is everything. You know, and that was 6 games, and I couldn't do no wrong because the team was winless. Mm-hmm. So I came in, made an impact in the 6 games, knocked some goals in, got some assist points, and then like I went from not playing the game to playing men's league 1 month to signing with the indoor team the next month. And then the very next month, I got a trial in the USL with that agent. His name's Tony Porch. He said, man, you're doing well, man. So USL clubs are watching you. What? Because at that time, the MISL, it was called, was linked with the USL. They were working together in tandem. They're not doing that no more. Actually, coaches dislike the indoor league. Yeah. That's a whole nother topic. But yeah, he sent me on trial to Charlotte at a invite combine. And I did well enough that they offered a contract. Yeah. And then from there, I just kind of been bouncing around. I played in the USL, bouncing around the country.
Of course, the life of a soccer player trying to make it in the US. It's like they only believe in like 1-year contracts in the United States. It's weird. I don't know whether it's like they're scared to take a risk on a player, or if that's just how the structure is made in their business proposal, or I have no idea. Right. But it's weird to me, man, because everybody, top players that could, mad potential, 1-year contract, 1-year contract, 1-year contract.
I think it has something to do with like the finances of the club.
Of the club,
you know, like I don't think there's only a few clubs in the States at the lower, like underneath MLS, that have like financial stability, and I think that's a risk to take. And injuries, you know, a lot of clubs in the States. They don't like paying players when they're injured. Of course. So I think that's a security reason for 1-year contracts and even per game contracts.
I mean, playing in New Orleans, I realized it was like they just knew like at the end of the day, next year we'll get another 12 guys from D1 they're not getting paid, so they're gonna come here and do this shit for free. Right. You know what I mean? So they're not worried about, you know, let's take care of what we have and let's nurture. And then in the long run, and one of the things that I realized is in the United States, clubs and stuff like that don't make much money from when players are sold to bigger and bigger things. That is very true. So what's their incentive to invest and nurture and build the player?
That is very true.
You know what I mean? So of course they're like, 1 year, this gets done, let's just get another one that'll come in for cheap, no money.
Exactly.
Because essentially they're not getting anything in the back end. If they nurture you and give you a 5-year contract, you know, play you up, we can turn you into something, sell you. They're not going to get anything. They might make a little bit of recognition. But no money. Yeah. You know, how much is Santos making off Neymar? You know what I mean?
They're still making money off Neymar. Right. You know what I mean?
That's the incentive to nurture, to buy a player young and actually put in the work and the time to take care of this player. I think it changes a lot. But sorry, go ahead.
No. That's spot on, man. That's spot on. So yeah, like after my season in the USL, following that, I played in California indoor. I met a coach named Bernie Lilleval, and this is my first experience as a footballer where like what's written down in your contract is not given to you. Oh, dude. You know, like, well, I'm pretty sure you've experienced that as well, man.
Just recently with the team that I didn't even want. I just wanted to come and train, and I signed a contract that even promised me less than what I would make if I worked at like McDonald's for 2 hours a day.
Right.
Whoa. And I still didn't get that. Yeah. It was just like the contract didn't mean anything.
It didn't mean anything. Yeah.
Anything. Sorry.
It's a lack of player power. Even in MLS, as we know. But yeah, man, I was promised X, Y, and Z, man. I didn't get A, B, C, bro. Yeah. I was like housed in like a hotel to hotel to hotel to hotel. I was told I was going to have a house. Yeah. You know what I mean? I was told I was going to get X amount of money for like player appearances that I was doing. I still haven't seen 1 penny of it to this day. This was 2014, 2015. Haven't seen 1 penny of it. I did get my player playing contract. But at that time I had not experienced anything like that. So I didn't know how to deal with it.
I was just gonna say I've gotten in coaching contracts like that.
Yeah.
And of course player contracts, you know, like similar to you, like when I went overseas for the first time, like you went to Rio and stuff, and that's where I was promised this and I was promised that. And I signed with the agent. Agent literally took it was like 80-20.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what the heck I was thinking.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Ended up hating and resenting football because of it.
Yeah.
When it was a circumstance which but that's very, very common in football, man.
It is. And a lot of people don't understand that battle, that struggle. But like I said, I didn't know how to deal with it. So I just kind of, you know how people are here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you're playing with my money. You know, I didn't know how to go about it the correct way, the professional way. And then I ended up parting ways with that club. Literally, I played like 5 or 6 games with that club. Played really well, but I just couldn't get over the fact that like I was promised something and it wasn't given to me. So before all that, I drove from Maryland to LA with my car across the country to get settled there. So that's why it was that's why it was so like heartbreaking for me. Like, man, I sacrificed everything.
Drive all the way back.
Luckily, I didn't have to do that. I shipped my car back here.
Yeah.
But
did they at least pay for that?
They didn't pay for that. They didn't pay for that. I mean, So I had a bad taste in my mouth. That was my first bad experience, not the last.
Yeah.
So after that, I was like, man, I don't want to play ball in the States. You know, I want to go overseas. I want to play. Ended up firing my agent, you know, because he didn't have any contacts. He kept like saying he did, but he didn't.
Of course.
Ended up signing on with the agent that worked a part of this company called Bridges. And he saw my highlight tapes. He was like, man, I'm going to send you somewhere. I waited probably 3 months, trained every morning for that 3 months, waiting for one email, one call. And it was like, I wasn't going to get that call. I wasn't going to get that email, about to throw the towel in. Actually, the morning I woke out of bed, looked at my phone, no email, no text. I didn't have a job. Like I was training kids on the side. This is when I first started.
That's when the training starts.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to hit on that too when I get the chance.
Yeah. So that's what like I started doing for income because, as you know, if you're sacrificing to play the game, it's hard to work a regular job and really commit to it. So I woke up that morning, no call, no text, no email. Went downstairs, hit my pops up like, man, I think, you know, I do need to go the school route. You know, maybe it's just not for me. This, that, and the third. I'm seeing other players who personally I thought I was better than sign on to clubs. And I'm like, man, what's going on? Like, it's just not meant to be. Literally, as I'm talking to my dad, man, I get a phone call and it's the agent. And he's like, man, how soon can you get to JFK airport? I have a club for you in Finland waiting. They need you ASAP. I'm like, man, this is how the business works. That's wild, yeah, man, pack my stuff up right there. The happiest kid in the world.
What would your dad say?
He was like, man.
You're like, hold up, Dad. Never mind. Take it all back, bro.
The crazy thing is, years ago, he was the one like, you know, you need to go to school.
Yeah.
But he see my sacrifice and my dedication.
Yeah.
And as I'm telling him, like, yo, I think this is it. He's like, are you sure? Like, he's the one now, like, man, are you sure? Like, you know. Yeah. And then I got the call, so I told my dad. He was all excited. This and the third. I had a couple of days before I left. Went out with my fiance, kicked it with her, you know. As you know, if you had a significant other and you're traveling, it's tough. Yeah. You know.
Definitely.
But luckily she's understanding and all that.
Congrats. Fiance now?
Yeah, fiance now. So yeah, man, went to Finland, small club, 3rd level. Loved it, you know, room with 2 other Americans, so that was cool. You know, it wasn't just like me being the only American. Do
you know Ayo Sosu?
Sounds very familiar.
You probably played against him. There's also a local topo in there. Yeah. Didn't he play in Finland too? It was Finland, right? Played for some. I'll look it up and I'll send it to you, man. But yeah, go ahead, bro.
Yeah. So man. I went to Finland. Mind you, while I was playing in the States, I was still kind of heavy, like 185, a little bit too like heavier than I am now. I don't want to play at 185. But I had a stature, and I'm not a center forward, but like American coaches, you see, like, you know, a black guy that's tall, fast, strong, you're the number 9.
Go up there, man.
You know, so Finland was the very first time I actually got to play in my role, which I play off the left or behind the striker.
Okay.
So I loved it, man. I loved it. Did well. The only thing is I started having knee problems because of all the weight that I gained. And from all the weight that I gained and just like going overtime trying to get back fit, this put a lot of stress on my knees. Like you said, I had a lot of imbalances for doing things that like I thought was right, but was wrong. Like squatting 300 pounds. And, all that crazy stuff, you know?
Same, man.
You know, so yeah, I actually had to come back mid-season because I just couldn't. Man, I was in the training room every day, you know, acupuncture, all that stuff, and my knees just couldn't take it. Again, so half the season and I fly back, and then here we go again. Like, man, like I'm playing well, got the contract, now my knees are all messed up. Yeah. It's always something, you know. So did that. In the summertime, that summer is when I really started hitting the private sessions and the small group sessions. Got a couple like high level kids, and then put some videos out, and then like people started taking to it. So I was like, man, this is actually something I can do in between contracts, you know, or if I don't want to play no more, I can kind of make a living out of this. And
how'd you get your like your first client?
Man, my first footballing client, because I had like general clients because became a personal trainer over the years. Was through a friend, actually my childhood friend who I played with that Blue Magic team with. When we were purple. He had a team. He had a club team with little kids, and he had 2 kids on the team that wanted extra work, and it's crazy. One of the kids' dad was in the military, so I could relate to the kid. The kid didn't even know I could relate to him, but I could relate to him, and picked his kids up. Chris Loring, he's at Meade, and Dale Boring. He's in college right now, but these 2 kids they're good, man. Like if they're not in America, they would be playing somewhere right now. And it just kind of grew from there, man. I got into that real heavy, and randomly, I got a contact from another indoor team, like after the summer, indoor team in Seattle, Washington, Tacoma Stars, and I flew out there, man. Played there for 2 years. And it was love, man. Like they really, that's awesome. I have to say, like as far as like putting my name out there, gave me a nickname, and I did well. Like that is like the best club I play for. Like that's home for me. If I could go there now and play there again, I would.
That's what
but yeah, man. And after that first season at Tacoma, I went to Malta. I went to Malta, man.
Yeah, I just played with a couple guys from Malta.
Really?
A couple years ago. Yeah.
Did they play in the Premier League?
Luke, this guy named Luke, I forgot his last name. He did play in the Premier League at Malta.
Yeah.
Luke, and one of them, Quasi Q. He played at Fury, so Brian might know him. Okay. Now he just got called up to his national team.
Really?
Yeah, Pakistan.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you heard about this.
Nah,
yeah, we all played. Yeah, we played at IFK.
IFK, man. With Chris Saul, right?
Yeah, with Chris Saul. Yeah,
he's doing well, man.
Yeah,
he was just in Germany with Joe Zhao.
Joe Zhao?
Yeah, man.
Playing?
Nah, he sent like some of his kids over there.
Yeah, I know he's doing. Yeah, he has a really good academy over there.
Man. Shout out Crystal.
Yeah,
but yeah, man. Malta was a whole nother experience in itself. Beautiful country. The country is smaller than Montgomery County.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
That's wild.
Which is absolutely wild. But like the most like gorgeous place I ever lived.
Yeah.
But also, as terms of football is concerned, the most corrupt country for football you can ever be a part of outside of Italy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like
worse than West Africa.
I'm not too concerned with. I mean, I don't know so much about West Africa footballing.
I'll get you hit.
Yeah, please.
Whenever you have like a whole weekend, I'll get you hit to the amount of corruption that goes on there. Bro.
Word.
But it's wild.
Yeah, it is wild, and it opened my eyes up, man. Because I'm like I said, I always been the work hard type of guy. I mean, I had talent, but like I always worked hard, to perform well. I don't always think it's just like talent. So this is the first time I experienced a situation where like hard work was not rewarded. And literally, if you had money, you could sign on with the club.
Of course.
And like there's literally agents paying clubs to sign their players. And I just couldn't understand that. I'm like, man, I thought we stopped paying to play when we're like, 13, 14, 16. Yeah, you know what I mean? Not only that, bro, like you would go watch other games. Like I played in this preseason tournament, you would go watch other games in preseason, bro, and it'd be so obvious that there was match fixing going on. Like literally, guys bet on the amount of corner kicks, who's gonna get a yellow card, how many fouls, the goals, everything, bro.
Holy shit.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's so blatant, so obvious. But like when there wasn't betting and bribes going on during the game, the level was quite good. Like I would say the top half of the table, and especially Valletta, they play in Champions League qualifiers every year. That was a high level. The bottom half of the table, I would say, is comparable to like the bottom teams in the USL. So it was a disparity, you know. But first time that I've been on the field and heard like 4 to 5 different languages being spoken.
That's crazy.
On the field. So that experience in itself, and like playing in front of a crowd where like if you take a nice touch or a nice tackle, they're actually going to clap it. You know what I mean? Whereas though in the States, they only clapping if you score a goal.
If you score,
you know what I mean? The fans are not knowledgeable.
That's true.
So, man, I got put up in like this high-rise condo, and like my neighbors were like rich Libyans. You know what I mean? It was just crazy. It was crazy, bro. It was crazy, but I mean, very, very, very long story. Cut a little bit short. I was like being taken care of by this Tunisian guy who was only there as a connect between the guy that actually sent me to Malta. They've never met. The Tunisian guy and the guy that sent me from Malta, he's from Pennsylvania. Actually has a lot of big players.
And that's your agent.
That was my agent. That was my new agent at the time.
Okay.
His name's Robert Zanicki. But like the guy, his name was Rita from Tunisia, and he was just out for money, man. Out for money, looking out for, you know, players that came from his country. There were times where like he wouldn't answer the phone and I'd just be stuck stranded, you know. Yeah, man. Before the game, we played Valletta. He told me to move out of the condo. So he told me to move out of the condo. He had a big player from Tunisia coming in that was going to move into the condo. I'm trying to contact my agent. Like, man, what's going on? I don't even have no place to stay. I have all my luggage here. This guy's like playing games with me. And my agent was like, man, this is the way it goes. This, that, and the third. I'm like, no, it's not the way it goes.
Wait,
like,
what?
Yeah. He's like, you just have to deal with it until you sign. And I'm like, I get that, you know, but I'm also not a rookie. I'm not a kid. Like, I'm not going to be on the street with my luggage, you know.
Even if you were a rookie.
Yeah, you shouldn't even be treated like that. But that's what it was, you know. And I ended up finding a hostel in a random city, you know, in Malta. Ended up getting food poisoning.
Oh, man.
And all these things. So like it went from like high-rise condo, beaches, playing well, getting clapped on the field, to food poisoning in a random hostel. That's you know, crazy. Not even being able to contact my contact. Yeah, man. But it's football.
Yeah, right.
It's literally football, man, because it's way worse stories that I've heard from other people. So that was Malta. Played there for a while. Then I came back. Played another year at Tacoma. After that, this past year, last summer, I actually signed on for the second half of the season in Sweden. Went to Sweden, lower level, against a team that was fighting relegation. So it was me and another kid from New York that they picked up, Bradley Nestor. Shout out Brad, one of the best players I ever played with. But like the culture when we got into the club was like we're used to losing. Like even in training, bro, like we'd play short-sided, and as soon as a goal went in, the other team like head would just drop. You know?
I tell my girls that I feel like losing is a habit.
It's a habit.
It's a habit, bro.
For sure.
If you got winning is your habit, it's different.
Yeah, man.
I don't know, but go ahead, bro.
Man. So so played over there last summer for the second half. Got a couple wins, but not enough to keep them up. They went down to the next level. I came back and then ended up signing with the Tropics for last season's indoor.
Yeah. And how are Tropics doing at this point?
Tropics are doing fairly well.
So they're better.
Yeah. The Tropics, actually last year was my first season playing with them. They're based out of like Central Florida, near Orlando, Lakeland area. And as far as like the individual level of players that I've played with, the Tropics, like technically, the team is crazy. Like most of the guys are Brazilian, like hard Brazilian. I would go to training and they would be speaking Portuguese, and luckily I've lived in Brazil, so I can pick up on stuff. But I felt like I was a foreign player in the team. Like 95% of the team was Brazilian and very, very good. But the problem was we couldn't play as a team
together.
Yeah, everybody was out for numbers and things like that, and it's power struggle between the older guys.
Yeah.
So as far as talent wise, I think we should have been in the final. But it just goes to show football is more than just talent.
Yeah.
You know, it's way more than just talent.
Together, man.
Yeah, man. So just finished that season, ended in March. And then this past summer was the first time like I just didn't play outdoor ball. That's kind of took a step back to kind of evaluate things and really, really honed in on like my individual and small group training. Moved to Miami and then started going crazy with like because in the summertime in Miami is where all the internationals come to vacation and party.
Right.
Ended up meeting some high level pros like Edson Bradfight, played for Lazio.
Edson
and Ryan.
Edson Bradfight.
Yeah, man. So
that's top level.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. They're just like us, you know. Like, you know, you and I, we grew up watching Babel at Liverpool. Destroying, man. The Dutch prodigy, man. Dude. And here I am, like, knocking the ball with him. You know what I mean? Just, like, working with this superhuman athlete.
He was the year they won Champions League, in it.
I don't think he was there. I think he had moved by then. Yeah. Well, I think, what was it? Rafa Benitez came in.
That was when Rafa,
Yeah, I don't think they got on so well.
That game versus AC Milan.
Let's not talk about that. That's my club, man. AC Milan.
Milan?
Yeah, man. Davids, man. 98. Davids was wearing the 7.
Yeah.
I fell in love with Davids and Milan.
Is that why you got the dreads too?
Yeah, of course, bro. I even tried to wear the goggles one year, man. My coach wasn't having it.
I think that was Rex specs on.
Yeah, man. I was like, yo, I need these.
That's hard, bro. Yo, that's great.
He was a rocket, man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, bro, like this summer, not even just like football, I mean, soccer athletes, like I met Wes Saunders, played for Pittsburgh Steelers back in the day, Indianapolis Colts, sorry. And some other, Mohamed Sanu, plays for the Falcons. I got to sit in and watch my big bro, Seth Minter. He's like actually the foot doctor.
Oh, yeah.
So like I'm in charge, or I run like the soccer aspect of it. But like a lot of stuff comes straight from him. As far as like the modalities and things like that, he can train all sports for sure. He can train all sports, but he's a football guy, American football guy. So that's where I come in with the soccer stuff.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, man. It's really a dope aspect.
I'm trying to learn, dude. I want to learn as much as I can.
Yeah, man. We could definitely talk about that. But yeah, man, like the whole training thing is getting crazy now.
Yeah.
To the point where I'm like at a tug of war. Like, do I put all my eggs in this basket, or do I still pursue football, man? Because I'm only 29, you know, and I don't want to be like
young man, dude.
36, 37, 38. Like, man, why didn't I play 29, 30, 31? You know what I mean? Because once you can't play no more, you can't play. It's not like you can hit a reset button. You know what I mean? So, yeah, true. Man, like that's where I'm at. Yeah, it's facts, bro. And I try to tell people all the time, they're like, man, you're obsessed with the game. I'm like, yeah, I'm obsessed with the game, but I know the game is not going to be here forever. I'm not going to be able to sprint like I sprint now when I'm 40, you know? So I just take advantage of it. I still train. Still train every morning. Yeah. Aside from my sessions.
This is why I think we need more pro clubs here.
Yeah.
Because there's so many, like you said it when this podcast started, Montgomery County produces top ballers. But the thing is, so we go out, we go play, we come back. You got Levy's, Daniel Ankras, all these guys. They come back. Kay even who's playing. All these guys are from here. If there was a way where they can still pursue like a career and other things like you're doing, but still play top level pro. Yeah. You know what I mean? We need a top level USL team. Yeah. Top level. I mean, the Blasts are doing well indoor.
Yeah, but I play indoor for years now, but it's still not 11v11. Like, this is not the game.
We need top level. Yeah. I think we need at least like 3 or 4 USL teams here.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever clubs are trying to get together and get that going, or whatever organizations can put some money together and get that, I think it could change a lot here. You know what I mean?
I totally agree. Because one thing, I mean, we have DC United, that's MLS, but obviously it's not a lot of spots from there.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's probably, we have Jalen Robinson. He's from Maryland. And then Rodney Wallace. But other than that, not too many kids actually from Maryland DMV area actually play for DC United.
That's true.
So like I totally agree with what you're saying. Give kids something to look and to strive for that's not overseas. You know what I mean? That's like right here. That's going to pay well. You know, like that's what we need. And I think there's a new club. I mean, I know World Class plays at a pretty high level.
Yeah, those guys are doing great.
They play at a pretty high level, and they do well in the Open Cup. Mm-hmm. We have Christos.
Christos made it. Was it last year?
They ended up playing DC United, scoring first. You know, so.
And they beat Richmond.
They beat Richmond?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, they had to be the USL team.
Yeah, they had to be a USL team to play MLS. Yeah, that's very true.
Again,
so that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of talent in the area, man. It's just we need backing. Mm-hmm. You know, we need backing and belief. You know, and not getting so caught up in like the 9 to 5. I got to pay this bill. I got to pay this bill. I got to do this to be successful and be an American man. Right. You know, like it's crazy because like. The way everything is set up is like takes us away from what we love. What you want to do. You know what I mean? Like not even what you want to do, it takes you away from who you love. You know what I mean? So like that's the way I look at things is like I'm 29. You know, luckily I've been able to play and accumulate some money. But if I didn't like accumulate money, I think I would still do what I love. You know what I mean? I'd rather have joy and happiness over this like fortune and being depressed, like you know what I mean. Like
that's you couldn't have said it any better.
Yeah, man.
You couldn't have said it any better. Yeah. And I think like it's crazy. Everybody in this room, I think, kind of it can be a testament to it. Like, cause I'm 28 too, and I'm kind of going through that tug of war like the last 2 years of my life, which was kind of like, do I keep playing? Do I do a 9 to 5? Do I pursue other ventures, which I have in soccer, just coaching all these things? And I'm just like, it's draining sometimes.
Yeah, man.
Just trying to think like what to do, and I wish there was a way you could do it all.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, if I didn't have to do stuff that took me away from the people I love and the things I love, just so I can make ends meet.
Yeah, man.
God knows where I'd be. So, but I like what you said about, man, you don't want to be 31, 32. Like, damn, man, I gave up 28, 29, 30. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
So I'm about to think. I'm about to go back to
think it again, man. Think it again. Like you're literally only stopping not because you want to stop, man. It's because you feel like you need to do X, Y, and Z. Luckily I met my fiance 2010, and she's just been down like the whole time. You know what I mean?
That's a big part.
But it's easy for you to meet somebody and they're like, well, I need this paid. I need this paid. I need this. I need this. If you're not making 80 a year, 90 a year, then there's a problem.
Yeah.
And that does not lead to happiness at all. So I'm more concerned with that than anything.
Yeah, man. I think you got the right idea, you got the right mind, but not just that, you have the right drive, which you've had from when you were young, which was instilled in you from your dad. You've also got the experiences, man, having to go over there. All these adversities are up and then you're down. And then, one of the things I tell my the people that I come and experience with, some of the people that live for mentorship from me and advice from me, I tell them, you're lucky in life if you have as many ups as you do downs.
Facts. You
know what I mean? Because that's really life. Like, so when you're going through like a depressive time or a downtime, you got to cheer up. You got to keep good spirits because a high is right around the corner.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? But vice versa. When you're at that high, you got to stay humble. You have to stay humble because sooner or later,
it's peaks and valleys, man. Right. That's life.
So it's really important that you keep a focused mindset and you have a good idea of what the good things are in life, what the bad things are, and then take the bads and roll with it and just focus on being, happy.
Yeah, man.
And that's my main thing. And luckily for us, soccer is one of those things that makes us happy.
Right.
Quitting my job, getting more into this, still playing pro and trying to, just playing soccer, just being around soccer. I've experienced great highs, what I mean? And the lows I've just kind of coasted through because I'm doing what I love.
Doing what you love, man.
So that's great. You got the same mindset, man. And I really, really enjoyed having this conversation with you.
Same, but likewise.
Shit, there were certain things you said and it's just like, oh, damn.
Yeah, it hits home, man.
That's facts, man. That's facts. So for like everybody listening, if you had one takeaway, man, through your ups and downs, your journey and finally getting here and, what's to come, if you had one thing that you could tell everybody at home, man, what would it be?
I think I would sum it up like this, how you were saying. I would say, don't get too high on the highs. Don't get too low on the lows.
Facts.
And keep faith. Like, if you have those things, you have that knowledge, and you keep your faith and you keep driving, eventually something's going to pop for you. You know what I mean? Like, I've learned that from, like I said, waking up one morning ready to quit, and then you have a contract. You know what I mean? Like, you're certain whatever situation you're going through right this second is not your permanent situation. You know what I mean? Whether it be good or bad. If it's good, it can be great. If it's great, it can be excellent. If it's good, it can be bad. If it's bad, it can be worse. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I would just say don't get too high on the highs, don't get too low on the lows, and keep it pushing. You know what I mean?
Well done, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so I also want everybody to go check like the Foot Doctor. Let everybody know your IG handles,
right,
whatever.
word.
Because I really want people to come and see this work that you're doing.
Yeah.
I wish we had more time. I want to talk about, you mentioned a couple of things. One of the things I'm big on as a coach now, and I wish I did more of, and now I make my girls do it, my boys do it, everybody I'm coaching and developing. One is plyometrics.
Hey. Yeah.
Like plyo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not a big fan of lifting anymore and stuff
me
like
either,
that.
for sure.
Plyo, stretching, taking care of your body first. You know? So you guys do a lot of that. Plus some other things you were mentioning earlier.
Man. So we do, well, first of all, my IG is Foot Doctor _ Ty Hall 41 if you want to check out anything there. But as far as like taking care of our bodies, like a lot of the foot doctors, we've partnered with a organization called the Institute of Sport and Movement, and we've all been like educated on like it's called muscular systematic engineering. And like pretty much we focus on being able to recruit all the necessary muscles for an athlete or a human being period to move safely and effectively. And a lot of people see the pictures and videos and they automatically assume it's yoga. It's not yoga. It's like yoga and Pilates, like on steroids. If I can put it any way, like that's what it would be.
Right.
So like a lot of like the sessions that I run always start out with some type of like MSc work, muscular systematic engineering, and then we move on from there. So I'm all about making a human feel like amazing when they move. Because we were made to move as humans. You know what I mean? Before the cars and stuff like that, if I wanted to get over there, I had to move myself to get there.
That's really
And with like life itself right now, we pretty much like the postures that we sit in all day at work in cars, we pretty much like destroy our hips, our ability to extend our hips, and pretty much walk ourselves in anterior pelvic tilts. So you see a lot of old people bent over when they're walking. That's just from the daily routines of human activity. So like I said, the MSC stuff I do it for my athletes, but I also do it for like the general population as well. Because every human should feel good when they move. Yeah, man.
Man, that's dope. Yeah. So like, I want to get you in here, and I want to learn some demos. I want to come out there and check you out. Also, I want to get you incorporated with the Montgomery College because, like, we got the boys coach here too as well. You know what I mean? And I think like they're a growing club. School. Yeah. They just went to the D1 standard of junior colleges. You know what I mean? And the talent here is huge. So I want to call all your genius. Let's feed it. Let's feed it. And I also want people to know that, like, coming from where we come from and being who we are, we're always written off. Like you said, you went to Brazil, Tyrone Hall.
Yeah.
That just doesn't happen in Brazil.
Right.
You know what I mean? That also happens here. You know what I mean? They look at you or they see, it's just another one. But we can do big things and we can, you know what I mean? We can survive. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? And
we can thrive.
We can thrive. Yeah. I was going to say, we can survive, but not just that. We can go through adversity and still come out superb. Right. You know what I mean? Right. You're a testament of that. And,
you're a testament of that as well, bro.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it, bro. So let's work together. And, I'm going to keep checking you out, keep following you, like I said, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
No doubt, man.
I really
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man.